Women don't empower women, though.
Mm-hmm.
Women don't empower women.
Hey, I'm Zainab.
And I'm Mia.
And welcome to another episode of Sprinkles and Spice.
And everything about women at work.
Can't
Can't get enough of singing intros. Can't get enough.
So today we have another Ramadan episode of our Ramadan series.
We're still hungry and thirsty.
And of course, as you know, we are wearing Noor Al Obeid. I'm wearing the Palestine. And Mia, what are you wearing?
Al-Hamra.
Al-Hamra. So for those of you who don't know, Noor Al Obeid is a Kuwaiti designer. She ships worldwide. And if you're still looking for dara'a for the rest of the Ramadan days, check her stuff out. You can even get them for Eid. They're so cute.
Honestly, for
Eid
any
as well.
occasion. Some of her darahs are full-on gowns. I'm like, yes, I will wear that to your wedding right now.
All right. And we have a code for you guys to get 10%. Put in the code S&S.
But like symbol and, not writing it. So today we have a trailblazer in the F&B industry. We have Noor Al Obeid.
Hey.
Noor, you are an F&B consultant. You curate menus and R&Ds for restaurants. You run 3 NGOs. Not 1, not 2, but 3. And you're a human rights activist. Welcome to the studio.
Thanks. I'm so excited to be here, guys. Big
We're
fan of the show. Big fan of the show and of you guys.
We're such fans of you as well. We're so excited to have
I
you.
love this girl love. Girls. Love
Girls,
it.
girls. Yes. So today's topic, we're going to be talking about the struggles of women in the workforce. And basically, we're going to start off with some cultural context and some historical context.
Of course.
And then we're going to get into the details. We're delving in. We're going to talk about all the challenges.
Yeah.
The endless
challenges, the discrimination, the opportunity gap, and all of that. But before we start, can you give us a little bit of insight on your background as a working woman, as a girl boss?
Guys, it's going to be a minute.
Entrepreneur.
Thanks. So I actually started my entry to the work world, or like the NGO world. I was like 14 years old. So that's when I started Bake and Educate.
That's the most unrelatable thing, and we've been filming for a minute.
14 years old, and she's doing Bake and Educate. Come
14
on,
years old, I was
queen.
putting on eyeliner all over across my eye. That's what I was doing.
I wasn't allowed to put on eyeliner.
I wasn't either. It was school bathroom. School bathroom, girl.
And then I obviously started to consulted for my first restaurant. I think I was like 17 or 18. I like wasn't even driving yet. I was working on the dessert menu. You know what I mean? Something that they saw like,
17, I hadn't worked a day in my life. Consulting for a menu. Okay, keep going.
And then, throughout college and all of that, I was doing a lot of like content creation when it comes to food. And when I moved back, I want to say in 2016, that's when I started getting like hit up by different cafes and restaurants. Like, hey, could you create these recipes for us? Could you do these desserts, whatnot? It was a lot of fun. It was, I think, I thought I had peaked then because like there wasn't a single cafe in Kuwait I did not have at least one item on the menu for.
Okay.
And I was like, this is the life. It's very political. The food world is very political.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like everyone's picking sides and whatnot. And you can't be like just that neutral force. So obviously you get pulled from side to side. Continued consulting, freelancing throughout my life. Then I joined the corporate world.
You sold your soul to the
Dun,
devil.
dun, dun.
It was an experience.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very interesting 7 months of my life.
Is it very different than your experience in the F&B?
Look, F&B is super competitive, and people think F&B is so easy. They're like, F&B, عندي فلوس, خلي بطل restaurant. Like, it's fine. I'm just going to open a restaurant or a cafe or a bakery.
Yeah.
They don't realize F&B is a 48-hour job in one day. Like you
Wow.
are consistently problem solving, developing, making sure everything's okay, operations. They think it's like, oh,
Snacking?
yes, of course.
Okay. Because if I worked in F&B, I would be eating everything.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay.
And like it is like you need a gym membership.
Okay.
Or
All right.
Monjaro or whatever you're doing. You know what I mean?
No shout outs to Monjaro.
No, I'm just saying, like, because you have to constantly try things.
Yeah.
You need to make sure quality is out there. It's a struggle. So
So actually, shout out Monjaro for people who need it.
exactly, we don't shame here. We don't shame. Everyone choose what they want to choose. That is the easy way.
Just
to
please,
go.
just don't end up in the hospital. I've heard so many horror stories.
No, you've probably heard horror stories about Ozempic.
No, Monjaro.
Really?
A friend of mine.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah. So after I was like, girl, I don't know.
Was it worth it? Is skinny worth it?
She looks great. But, I don't know. I wouldn't advocate for
Skinny
it.
hurts. No, wasn't that like the motto of the early 2000s? Heroin chic, skinny hurts, but
my
it's
God.
worth
You
it.
cannot stop talking about heroin
No, we
chic.
really every episode we can't say it enough. We're so traumatized. No, but what did Kate Moss say? Nothing tastes as good as
As
skinny.
Skinny,
Oh my God, yeah.
yes, everything tastes better than skinny.
I'm sorry.
A lie. A lie.
My
I can
brownies
have a
taste
list
better.
of all the things that taste better than skinny.
I should have brought like bakes and been like, this tastes better.
Yeah.
That would have worked if only I had the foresight to do it.
It's okay. You're
okay.
working 48-hour jobs, Mom, and we don't expect anything. Also, we can't eat at Ramadan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, well, moving on. Obviously, we're not filming this during Ramadan.
Yeah, we're pre-filming. The magic is gone. Damn.
I was thinking about it. I was like,
Mia's already hungry. She's pre-hungry before Ramadan.
she's pre-Ramadan hungry.
I had lunch.
Are you hangry?
No, I had lunch 4 hours ago, and as I was having lunch, I was like, "You're gonna be so hungry. I'm starving."
No, I don't know how you're gonna survive because every time I'm on the phone with her, she's snacking on something. She's
My life
always
story.
snacking. She's a snack queen.
Like, not even a meal queen. I'm a snack queen as
Same.
well.
Yeah.
Like the meal, it'll be like, it'll be great, whatever. Like,
Like, I get full really quickly.
Same.
Then I snack all the time.
Yeah.
it's whatever. Like I'll have like whatever.
It's
In
such a bad
1
habit.
hour after dessert, I ate a snack.
Honestly, I used to be like that, but the thing that disciplined me was because I work out. And are we boring you?
No, man. I work 48-hour days.
I know.
okay.
I'm just bullying you on our show.
It's fine. I can take it.
I know you can't. But yeah, I feel like working out really kind of forces you to discipline
Because you're actually
yourself.
like, I'm not going to lose the effort that I just put in today.
Also, I need protein. I need meals. So I'm not going to get protein from like chips and chocolate.
protein.
no, but I feel like
chips.
you can snack on a lot of things. Like,
Fruits.
it's not just
Yeah.
unhealthy food.
I love a fruity snack.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We're such Arabs.
I know. All right, back to the topic at hand. You
All
were
right,
saying
let's start with historical and cultural context
yes.
of our struggles as women.
When did we start struggling?
When did we start struggling? I mean, we have to say that since the early 20th century, we have come
A long
a
way.
long way. We have been progressing a
Yeah.
bit, but I feel like it's still not enough. We do have a lot of discrimination and issues that we need to talk about.
But I do want to just interject and because like let's be real, we're kind of also somewhat feeding into that like stereotype of the Western world and women have no rights.
Yeah.
No, we do. We will always fight for more rights. Everyone will always fight for more rights. We just need to be like very
Exactly.
clear on that. But are we feeding into the stereotype of Western world, how Middle Eastern women don't have rights? No, we are princesses. We choose to work.
Not just that, like
We
I
don't
know,
have to.
yeah, like we are from a culture that's more matriarchy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The mom's
based.
the
Like
leader.
the moms are the leader.
The moms are the
Yeah.
nurturers,
And-
the leaders, the decision makers.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna get into it later,
Yeah.
but I mean, legally we are supposed to be getting equal pay, but we'll get into that a bit later. But even in Kuwait, I think it's not necessarily a matter of like it's not as deep as like the Western.
Oh yeah, that pay gap, that
pay gap,
disrespect
yeah.
of women and motherhood and whatnot. No, we do have a big benefit on that.
But the only issue is that we have a cultural
Gap.
That's the gap that we need to discuss. And if you look at it, it's not even like because a lot of our culture stems from religion. Let's be very frank on that. But it's not even, it's the misinterpretation.
That's what it is. Yeah. And I think in our current situation, like we are kind of like grappling with like a patriarchal culture where like women are expected to be more concerned
Sacrifice.
or like prioritize starting a family,
Sacrifice a
homemaking.
career
Yeah.
for the benefit of the family. You know, like the woman is going to be the one that's going to raise the kids and take care of the house. So she has to sacrifice her career. That's what we're dealing with right now.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, also in Kuwait, we have to also acknowledge that women did not have access to schools until like the late 30s, I think. Public schools, I think.
Public school system, yes.
Public school system for women started in the late 30s, but even with that there was a lot of fear. I think there was a bit of like ignorance where, like I was telling Mia earlier today, like my grandmother was actually, she went to school, but then they pulled her out of school when she was, I think, in primary, because they were scared for her safety. So there was that issue. There's not a lot of enrollment. But we have a cute piece of information.
History
lesson. Mia, do you want to tell us?
In 1956, a group of young rebellious women teared their abayas down because they wanted to fight for their right to education.
Yeah,
That is actually very true.
They wanted the right to study abroad. And that's the thing. When I look back at Kuwaiti women, like I feel like we're very strong.
Yeah.
We fight for our rights. I don't think we could have been here if it wasn't for the women who actually like spoke up and talked about these things back in the 50s.
Yeah, agreed.
And you guys need to also understand, we are so we as Kuwaiti women trailblazed for most women in the GCC. We are still way leagues ahead.
Yeah.
in
We can
certain
protest.
senses. Not just. You need to understand that we have the first female Arab ambassador to the United Nations.
Yeah.
That is huge. One of the first female Arab ambassadors came from Kuwait, period. Nabila Al-Mulla, who was, you know, also one of the first females in NATO, one of the first. We have women. We were the first women to be able to vote in the GCC. We were the first.
Yeah.
We are trailblazers in that sense, but it kind of just stopped
Yeah.
at a certain point.
It's stagnant, I think.
It's stagnant, and I feel it's very on par with everything else that's stagnant.
Yeah.
We saw companies really step forward. During COVID, I saw a big switch when companies started to realize their female employees are super valued. Certain banks were like adamant on now giving equal pay between men and women.
Yeah.
Shout out to them. I'm not naming names until they're a sponsor.
Queen.
Yep.
Girl, I am here for you. Psh, I know how it is. If you would like to be mentioned, please sponsor the show.
Please sponsor the pod.
Sponsor the pod.
I'm trying to like...
Noor is going to be our manager.
No, you're hired.
For sponsorship inquiries, please contact Noor.
You're just throwing me back to my corporate job, aren't you? I was the sponsorship girl for that company.
Creatively for women.
Yeah.
I got it.
It's not for the man.
Yes,
It's for the women.
I love it. But we were always so trailblazing, and it was awesome to see. But I also feel the disconnect happened from both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that girls felt like they had reached it. Khalas, we got to where we needed to be. That's it.
Yeah.
They didn't have any foresight in that sense, but I think it's because the entire world stopped noticing. Like, we became very engulfed in everything that happened in the region.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. We've been unstable since... This whole region has been unstable since the 80s. It has not been the time.
Yeah.
Where would we have the time between everything that happened? So women's rights and the workforce kind of took a backseat. And not saying that it didn't, like, it wasn't a priority. 2000s, we got a right to vote. We're there. But to say that it was at the forefront, no, because we had other priorities.
Yeah. I mean, you do have people where sometimes you complain and they're like, oh, you have a job. You should be grateful. Like you weren't able to work before, but that's not the problem. The issue is that we are just as capable, we are just as qualified, but we're not given these opportunities.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's that's the issue. I think we're just stagnant. Which brings us to gender bias and discrimination.
So globally, 42% of women say or think they have experienced gender discrimination in the workforce. 42%.
And that's
expected
the
it to be
ones
higher.
and that's the ones that have come out with I think probably like close to 80 something.
That's the ones who've noticed it.
Yeah, yeah. It's most places.
It's tough because like I do feel also there are a group of women who are not aware that there is discrimination,
Yeah.
and they kind of are like, okay, well, this is
The norm.
how it is. This
Yeah.
is the norm.
And I think something that is quite common outside is the boys club.
Oh, very much.
So then you love talking about it.
I
The
talk to her
boys
about the
club.
boys club all the time. So I worked, my first job was a corporate job. Actually, I used to work at a bank, and then I worked at an agency, and then I did, I kind of worked at a startup and all of that. And every single job that I've had, there is a boys club. Your opinion does not matter if you're a woman, even if you say the right things. They're always second guessing you. They're always making you feel like you're less than. And a lot of the times, like, they'll go out and have their like cigarette break, and they'll have their smoke, and a lot of businesses being talked about in those breaks, and you just feel left out and you're not given the same opportunity.
It's like the Western idea of like the after work drinks between the boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see that in a lot of corporate struggle with women.
Yeah.
Like all corporate jobs, like in my experience as well, there's the boys club and whatnot, and like they just kind of all get together, and it's a no girls are allowed club, and it's very interesting because you look at it from when we were kids, where there was the boys club and girls have cooties and they're not allowed in, and now it's like, oh, girls have cooties, you're not allowed in.
Do you experience that in your industry, in the F&B? I mean, obviously corporate.
Ooh, F&B. F&B is a very complicated.
Yeah.
So it's very funny because like women are so praised to be like in the kitchen all the time. Like that's that stigma, go to the kitchen. But it has become a very male dominated field.
That's what I'm seeing, is that it's more male dominated.
Business owners, a lot of them are men and whatnot. And I still remember one of the clients that I took on who didn't really take me seriously as a woman. And then now, even though he's not even a client of mine, calls me over every little issue. I don't know what to do. What do I do? What do I do? And it's a matter of like, why do I have to work twice as hard
To prove to
prove
you that
to
I'm
you
worthy.
That's what it is.
that I know what I'm doing?
Yeah.
But once you do, ما يستغنون عنك. They won't get rid of you. They will not leave you.
But you have to work twice as hard to make
and
them
you have to
see that.
justify why they have to pay you this much. When you're like, but
Yeah.
if I actually, this is like proven because I've been in this situation where I offered like gave someone a package, and a male R&D gave someone a significantly higher package. They questioned my package before him.
Yeah.
I'm not shocked. Like, I'm not going to sit there and tell you I'm shocked. Obviously, I come from like a legal field. And forget the smoke break. It's a whole different conversation when you're seeing a coworker go golfing with the boss.
Yeah.
And it's a boys' golf trip. I can't compete. That's it. I'm done. The second someone's going to go to make partner, it's gonna be one of the boys. And I think that's one of the main reasons why I didn't want to be a corporate lawyer anymore. I was like, no, I can't do this. I need to look into something that's more humanitarian, because there's gonna be more space for women.
Girl, come to my
Sprinkles and
NGO.
Spices, humanitarian.
We'll talk.
It's kind of like that episode of Sex and the City with Miranda. Do you remember that one?
She has to pretend that she's interested in men
And
and in
a
women,
woman.
so that the men accept her as part of that club. Never mind the fact that she's a hotshot lawyer too.
Yeah, but then wasn't it that she wanted to become partner, and they were like all like hanging out without her with the wives, and then they were like when they assumed that she was into women, they invited her over and they were like all buddy with her. Nightmare. Like it's
the reality.
It is the reality.
But also in a way, like, do you guys not see that it makes sense? Because if they're always around these guys, then the time for promotions, these guys are top of mind. It's not even about your qualifications anymore. It's about the time that you spend together.
That's psychology, though.
Yeah.
When you consistently see something or someone, they're the first person that pops into your head. And it's very smart. They've kind of indirectly marketed themselves.
Yeah, they have.
to be the first thing. You're like, it's like indoctrination in that sense.
And I think in Kuwait, we see sort of a similar phenomenon with the Diwaniyah, right? The Diwaniyah is the official boys club.
Yeah.
Duania and boys trips.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Duania, chalet, boys trip.
And let's not kid ourselves. They are talking business.
Oh,
They are
yeah.
making decisions.
Most business gets done in Duania.
Yeah, it doesn't get, but that's what I struggle with when people don't want to understand. Like, deals get signed in the boardroom. They don't get done in the boardroom. The think tank is not happening in the boardroom. It's happening in Diwaniyah. It's happening in the boys' holidays. When I lived outside, I would go out with my friends, right? And these are like mixed dinners, mixed hangs, whatever. So many of the business deals that are now actual businesses started when we were in our early 20s, and everyone would be hanging out and talking to this person, being this person, and we're a mixed group, so we're privy to this. I can't imagine in Kuwait all the opportunities that have gone us by because we're not seeing Diwaniyah.
Oh my
here
God.
in Kuwait.
I used to work as a managing director for this small startup. Was distributing like beauty products. You'd think as a makeup artist, you know, and someone who's had experience in marketing and market research and all of that, and I am hired as managing director.
And speaks at FIT.
Me, I cannot
Can't
stop.
say it enough.
Yeah. I spoke to a
Girl.
class in FIT.
Twice in a row.
Twice.
2 years.
in a row.
Girl, so proud of you.
Thank you. So can you imagine, like, when I would advise the CEO, I would be like, okay, you know, like, let's do this, let's do that, let's work with this company, let's get this kind of, let's get this quantity, we'll do a test order, we'll do whatever. And it would always be dismissed. 2-3 months later, he would be in the Diwaniyah. He would hear it from someone else, literally the same thing that I've been preaching, and would come to me and say it to me like it was his idea because someone in the Diwaniyah told it to him.
my God.
And
That's happened
there's
to us all
nothing
the
more
time.
frustrating for a woman than being devalued like that. Your opinion being questioned, being second guessed. Like, it's so frustrating. I don't think they understand. Like, and I think the psychology behind it is that, oh, women are emotional. They don't understand business. Men are more logical. They're more rational, which I don't
Okay.
believe is true.
Sure.
I think men are way more emotional than women. I said what I said.
Yes. No. No, but that's the thing. Women are emotional, but this is where we like actually have to look at it. Women are more emotional, but we also know how to deal with our emotions.
We're emotionally
Men
intelligent.
but not just men, because of their inability, society's inability to allow men to express their emotions.
Yeah.
They act more irrationally.
Yeah.
But not just they act more irrational. Like, they don't understand that, like, anger is an emotion.
Yeah.
So you
Oh, yeah,
can-
100%.
Yeah.
They don't understand that everything you feel is an emotion, but like, okay, ignore the fact that the jobs that you would think a woman would get are getting taken away by men. There's also the jobs that women can't get because they're deemed too dangerous for
Yeah.
women.
Especially, I think maybe we see it in the oil industry. Like, you know, when there are like jobs where it's like, oh, you have to work from like 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. or something like that, where it's like shifts, or you have to go on site and stuff like that. Like, some girls, like, their families are like, no, this is too dangerous. And some girls don't want to do these jobs because they don't want to be in a space where it's a lot of men.
Yeah.
Understand. Look, can I
it's
say
unsafe.
honestly, I think for that it's more of a, they're trying to be considerate. They're thinking they're being considerate rather than it's like a bias. It's like, oh, her father's probably not gonna let her be out, or because some families do also, they're like, okay, it's dangerous, or it's 3-4 a.m. like you can't drive back on a dark road, something happens. Like, they're gonna fear for every kid, male or female, but there's always that extra kind of worry for women. But for them it's like, oh, we're being considerate, not that they're consciously being biased. So they take it as that, not knowing that, like, no, just give me the chat. If I want to, I will volunteer to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that thing is, I think there has to be the opportunity for the person to decide. But for society, like for everyone in society, whether it's the parents or the employer, to do it because they care about the person, but maybe have the conversation.
And
Sit the
empower
person down.
girls to and teach them how to deal with situations like that, rather than shelter them and protect them.
Yes.
But now you're
It's easier
touching
said
into,
than done.
it's easier said than done
Yeah.
in that sense. Like, we would love to, but then you're gonna look at it from, like, let's take out the context of like Kuwait in the Middle East. Look at the West. You still have people having the same struggle. Parents who are like, don't be out this late because we don't know what's gonna happen. And it's not the fear of what the child would do, but rather what other people would do.
Yeah.
Do you know how in relationships you're like, no, I trust you, I don't trust the people around you?
Yeah.
There's that mentality with like the person, like, oh, we don't know what other people are going to do, especially let's say on an oil rig where you're the only girl and it's a bunch of men, and you know who's going to help you if something happens. Because let's be real, we've seen things happen in public,
Yeah.
let alone in private. So like I agree, their conversation needs to be had, the risk needs to be
we
there.
need to create safe environments, like
Aha.
limita, you know, until when are we going to have the situation where I couldn't work A, B, C, D, E, F, G jobs because guess what, it wasn't safe for me. Okay, well, how about we make it safer for us, you know? That's the thing.
You are now treading into a complete overhaul of the system.
But at some point, an overhaul is needed. That's how revolutions happen. That's how change happens. One day, we decide as women, hey, let's go out and protest because we need to vote.
Yeah.
And that was a whole overhaul of the system.
Yes.
Like, we can't just sit there and be like, well, we can't because A, B, C, D, F, G. I really mean it. Like, we as women have the power to step and say, there needs to be change. There needs to be laws implemented. Saudi Arabia has created so many laws for sexual harassment. Why are we
Oh
still
my
not
God.
doing anything?
I remember going to Middle East in Saudi.
How was it?
Please tell us.
Because I've heard some
2021.
horror
I did
stories.
20. No. Look, I have to say, organization, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, they're great at
They did it,
organization.
and they were so loud about the laws of harassment. It was crazy. Like, they were loud.
Did you go
Try
general
me.
entry or did you go
I
VIP?
did VIP.
Okay, well, that's
That's
a
what
different
I heard,
experience.
'cause a
No,
lot
but
of
we
people are
did
like, do
general
VIP.
entry. Like, we entered. So certain parts of the festival, you have to be general to be able to get there. So we were in the general public. Not a single person did anything that made me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Wow.
They were so loud about it.
Well, that's some free promo that they deserve then.
They honestly, they deserve it. They deserve it because they did something huge.
Yeah.
I feel like, look, in that sense, things are going to get a lot better here in that sense. But like in the workforce, that's private culture. Each
It's
company
tough.
runs it itself.
Yeah.
So you have to find, like when you're working corporate, you need to be aligned with a corporation that understands that and values you as a woman. But then try to find those organizations.
Yeah.
They're usually startups, small businesses, etc.
I mean, I think what we need to start with is to fight the stereotype. There is a stereotype that like women in the workplace are they just want to gossip and eat.
We work
and-
harder than like.
Thank you.
Oh
For
my
less
God.
credit.
Yeah, I used to work, my first job where I used to work at a bank. We're not saying who. Don't want to get in trouble. Maybe they'll sponsor us one day.
You can't cut relations.
Anyways, but it's not the bank's fault. I think it was mostly the head of the department that I worked for. And ironically enough, he was not even Kuwaiti, he was British. But misogyny is a universal thing. It's not just like for certain cultures. So he used to like vocalize that he wanted to invest in the boys more than the girls. This is
Because in
something
his
that
head,
he
the
said.
girls are going to get married,
Yeah,
have kids.
literally,
and,
that's what he said.
and
He's
take
like, girls
time
are
off.
gonna get married, they're gonna get distracted with the wedding, and then they're gonna have kids, and then they're gonna be tired when they're pregnant, and then when they give birth, they're gonna go on maternity leave, and then they have the nursing hours.
Look, can I tell you something? They're not wrong.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that we're incapable of also doing our job. Like, we can do
Exactly.
both.
Yeah.
Like, I hate discrediting the fact that these things are exciting to us because that's unfair.
Yeah.
Like, we've become Western feminist view has become, we shun women for liking the things that women like because we're fighting the system.
You can't.
No.
You don't have to choose one or
No.
the other.
Yeah.
What if I do say, well, when I get married, I want to be a stay-at-home mom. Who said I can't? Why are you shaming me for saying that? I remember saying that once. Like, oh, you know, if I didn't have to, like, if my husband had enough, like, business coming in that he didn't, I didn't have to work, like a 2-income household wasn't forced, and I didn't have to, I would definitely take a few years off to raise my kids. First of all, I don't see anything wrong with that because let's be real, shout out to stay-at-home moms. That is a 24/7
God.
That's
job.
the hardest job
It
and
is
it's the
the
least
hardest
rewarding.
You don't get a break. You don't clock out.
No. And society makes you feel like you're less than for being a stay-at-home wife.
And no, but that's the thing. Do you know I got more hate from women for saying it than men? And I remember going, huh? First of all, and this girl said, that's so unfeminist of you. And I was like, do you understand the term feminism? And I proceeded to give her a 25-minute lecture on feminism. And I told her feminism is the concept of choosing. If even my company, like legally by law in Kuwait, we have X amount of time off when we get married, when we have kids, whatever. Our job stays. The company cannot penalize you for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You come back in your job, you are allowed. You do not get to shame me for that. You don't get to shame me for taking time off, because I'm still, most of the time, we still have things accomplished. We probably, when we're taking our maternity leave, do a handover that like has basically just said, just send these emails, everything else is taken care of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have seen some women work so hard while being pregnant. I worked with one of the girls in my team. She was pregnant. She was doing her master's, and she was one of the hardest working girls in that team. And she was so, how do I say it? Like,
Productive.
and not just productive, like everything that she would do would be like perfect.
Yeah.
And this woman was like literally working a full-time private job, 7:30 to 3:30. She's pregnant and she's doing her master's at the same time.
Yeah.
And she was
Shout out to her.
Shout out to her. Honestly, it was so inspiring looking at her work. And then I'm like, this is a problem, because you're not looking at what we're capable of doing. Because yeah, maybe I will take 2 hours of nursing time when I have a baby.
It's my right.
But
It's my
right.
literal legal right.
But
Do not shame me for taking my
that doesn't
legal
mean
right.
I'm not gonna finish my tasks. That doesn't mean I'm less than a guy who's just gonna be there 2 hours extra. Like it doesn't matter, and it's so
Your efficiency isn't in hours, rather in tasks that are completed.
No, I mean,
And we multitask.
what's
Yeah, we
what's
do.
funny is that it's a known fact that men cannot multitask,
And women can.
and women
Yeah.
they can't.
Oh, they hate when we tell them that, by the way.
But actually, a man told me that. A friend of mine once was like, I can't actually just do two things at the same time. I have to focus on one thing.
Yeah.
Because
And we're like 6 things.
Yeah.
yeah.
And like on the phone while doing it.
And
Like
we're not
literally today, me
half-assing
and
any
me.
of them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Literally today, what?
you and I, when we were on the phone,
yeah.
like working and doing
our
5 million
hair.
things, doing our hair, doing our makeup.
doing everything on the
Yeah.
phone, and like taking notes. No, but one thing that because you brought up a friend of yours who's studying while being pregnant and working and succeeding in all of it. And I'm sure she's doing the best that she can, and it's the best result that could come. One of my best friends actually is the same. My friend Lei has 2 kids. She's from Myanmar, and if you know, Myanmar is currently,
Yep,
it's-
there is a current genocide in Myanmar.
more than that, there's a huge crisis.
Yeah.
Like, she's able to not only work and travel, and she has 2 kids, and her whole family is there, so she has to focus on making sure her family stays alive, but she's able to do such amazing things, and she's changing the landscape of Asia with what she's doing, and I'm so
Amazing.
incredibly proud of her. And sometimes just think,
Shout out to her.
big shout out to her. She watches the pod. Hey, lady.
Oh, hey,
When I think of all the things that she's done in the past years, just with what her life has given her, I respectfully don't have one friend that's a man that would be able to do that and not gloat. She doesn't
Yeah.
talk
Oh
about
my
it.
God. My
She
sister
does not
worked
talk
till
about
the...
it.
So my sister lives in the States. She's a physician. Her and her husband are both doctors. So when she was pregnant, it was COVID. She was in another state, working for a hospital in another state than her husband. So she was alone, moving into an apartment, 9 months pregnant, working. She worked till the day that she gave birth, because y'all know maternity leave over there is not...
Yeah.
It's 6 weeks from the day that you take off, not the day you give birth. So if you take off before you give birth, that is included in your maternity leave. Yep.
Oh, I'm making a face.
Yeah.
Yeah, doesn't that suck? 6 weeks.
Well, thank
That
God
is
for
like-
our laws here in
Yeah,
Kuwait.
exactly. My sister worked till she was the day that she gave birth as a physician during a pandemic, moving into a new apartment alone. I had flown in, but I can't really I can't do her job. I can't carry her kid.
Yeah.
So like she's really doing all the work. All I did was like help out here and there, and still managed to do it all without anyone helping her. And I look and I'm like, who says that we're not capable? When she got pregnant with her second child, it was like 2 years after her first, her boss told her, do you think that's the smartest thing to do?
No.
Did she sue?
No.
She got up.
She could have. I know. I told her. We need to get her. We need to connect you guys.
Yeah.
Mia's now just gonna take on all feminist lawsuits.
Every time someone comes like, did you sue? I could sue it.
Why are you questioning my personal life?
If he's not allowed to.
decisions?
He's not allowed to comment on it.
They're
Don't
not.
question
She even
it.
told me, she's like, by the way, legally he's not allowed to comment. But like, this is just the idea that like, oh, you're gonna take another 6 weeks off. 6 weeks, bro. That's just a holiday for us in the Arab world. Like that's my summer vacation. What do you mean?
During those 6 weeks, the thing is, knowing, you know, what you're saying about your sister, I'm sure she's going to be also working. She's not going to sit there all day and do nothing.
And you don't sit there with a kid, a newborn baby.
Yeah.
You are constantly moving. So no,
You're
it's
keeping
And
him
you
alive.
don't sleep.
you don't.
You're
Oh, you
not
do not
sleeping.
sleep at all.
And I'm sure she doesn't gloat about it.
No, not at all. Not at all.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit about the pay gap and opportunity gap. I mean, we did say that legally there should not be a pay
And in
gap.
Kuwait,
In Kuwait.
legally, there isn't.
Yeah, we
Legally.
were supposed to be
Legally.
getting equal pay, but
In practice,
in practice, yeah, it's not happening. And I think the reason for that is because maybe like entry level, we start out the same.
yeah.
But then I think what happens is that because there are less opportunities for women, the guys are, you know, obviously advancing in their career and they're getting paid more because obviously when you're in a higher
Obviously,
position.
when you're in a duania and someone's brother's, cousin's, mother's, father's grandson is there, oh, there's a connection. Yalla, come on.
Oh yeah,
raise.
100%.
Yeah.
And it's the tiniest country. Like, that's what people don't realize. So it's funny to say it right now in a podcast room, being like, oh, you know, they're getting opportunities because they're working harder. No, they're not. Everyone knows each other here. Like, we see it
true.
all the time.
We
Can
are
I-
like a very, very intertwined society.
We are,
are.
yeah. Can I just want to talk some a little bit. I know it's not a lot. Oops. I recently was let go of a job that I worked at, which was supposed to be, the whole premise of this job is to, or this platform is to empower women. And the team behind it is all men.
I'm not trying to get into legal trouble, so I'm actually
We'll tell you after.
I'm doing signs. I'm doing
so,
gang
so
signs.
the person behind
She
this
really is.
idea.
I'm trying to understand. She's like the Rihanna, the girl that's the translator for Rihanna.
The YMCA. I'm doing it for the name of the company.
She's trying to sign to
I am Brianna's translator right now.
I was like lured into this project because of the fact that I was like, okay, women empowerment, you know, all of that.
Women
And
don't empower women though. Women don't empower women.
not all.
No. Let's be real about it. Most of
yeah.
the time, we are raised in a very competitive society in the world.
Yeah. I
The
mean,
world
because there are limited
has
spots.
trained
Yeah.
women to compete against each other, and we are so toxic to each other.
Men have trained women to
Men
compete.
just have good
No.
PR.
Can I
honestly.
tell you something? Can I tell you something? Where do we get it from? We get it from our
Patriarchy.
No. So I've seen this a lot, and this happened to a friend of mine where she was getting engaged to someone, and then her best friend tried to like slide in. Yeah.
This happens so much. I keep
But
hearing
wait,
these
but wait,
stories.
but wait, why? Because, and this is where it's like a cultural aspect. And I thought it was just here, and then I realized it's everywhere. Of
Yeah.
like the mom saying, "No, you shouldn't. She shouldn't be with someone that's better than you, or she shouldn't have a job that's better than you, or she shouldn't."
Yeah.
And you're like pitting girls against each other, but it's because they were raised that way, and they were. And you have to go to the root problem, and the root problem is that there is not enough space
That's it.
for
yeah.
women. And so we are competing consistently. Like I had a question in my previous job that someone asked our CHRO at like an open event. And they were like, why don't we see women in the C-suite? Because we were it was one of the few companies that didn't have a single woman in the C-suite. And he like really validated that question. Like he took it seriously because like, you know, he's a very modernized guy and very for women empowerment. And one of the female senior directors jumped and said, I don't see how that's a problem if you guys aren't working enough.
It's
I
kind
don't
of like
see-
what Kim Kardashian was like.
yeah. If you didn't work enough, no. But that's the thing. I see girls working, but are they given the opportunities?
No.
No, they're not. Like,
Yeah.
and the fact that the one person to put that girl down and invalidate that girl was a female
Yeah.
did not sit right with me. And that exact woman was known, by the way, in the company to like make girls' lives.
I mean, we do have this stereotype where they're like, oh, female bosses are tougher on girls and
why?
guys. But I
But
think
it's not tough at that point. You're just don't want a girls
yeah.
in your
Yeah.
all boys club where you're the only girl.
I mean, look, it's obviously not okay, but I think we need to kind of like raise awareness about this topic to encourage these women to like do better. Please do better.
Empower the younger generation of
And
women.
for the girls, thank God my mom is not the girl, not the mom to compare me to other girls. She's very focused on me. For the girls who do have a mom, I think, that would say such a thing, I think it's important for the girl to be like, Mom, why are you comparing me to my friend?
Yeah.
Why are you making compete with my friend?
Yeah.
Because I do think at some point, if that's the situation, maybe your mom doesn't realize she's doing it. Maybe it's time to say something.
By the way, sometimes they don't even realize
Yeah,
it because it's like
it's so
inherited.
ingrained in
they
them.
were
inherited.
raised in
Yeah.
that manner.
Yeah.
You were saying about
Anyways, yeah, let me go back to talking. Mia cannot stop hitting the mic.
So
They're new
Mia-
mics, you guys. We're getting
I'm
used
not
to them.
hands down,
I
girl.
talk with my hands. I'm European. What do you want from me?
What are you, Italian?
Now I am. Mamma mia.
Mamma mia.
Sirlich pizza.
Sirlich pizza.
I'm dressed like a pizza today.
You are.
It's the colorway of my favorite food.
Ahla bolognese.
Anyway, so
Pink pasta
back to-
bolognese.
Oh my
But it's
Anyways.
like, why did you guys bring Noor on the show?
Tarek, are you now hungry? Are you more pink pasta? or
Are
more
you guys
bolognese?
hungry?
Are you more pink pasta or are you more bolognese?
Spaghetti bolognese.
Okay.
All right, you guys tell us in the comments. Are you more pink pasta or more bolognese?
You guys, you hungry people in the comments.
Hungry people who are watching this during Ramadan. Anyway, so back to my story. So I took this job because I wanted to do something where it's like you were actually empowering women. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I don't mind that the guy behind it is a misogynist. Because I was like,
let me
a win
make
is a
money
win,
off
you
of
know?
this.
Like that's the problem as a woman. You look at these things and you're like, a win is a win.
A
You
win
know
is
what I
a
mean?
win. A win is a win.
The TikTok sounds we can't get enough of.
Like, can we play that in the background?
We
a win
should.
is a win.
A win is a win.
A win is a win.
And
Just
imagine
making Tariq's life harder.
And so imagine like I pretty much set up this whole thing for him. Like I structured it. I did like the marketing plan.
She
I
was
in charge of, like, the
overseeing
production,
every single
everything.
shoot.
I was working so hard, and he was like, "I cannot afford to give you this pay right now because you know we're a startup." And I was understanding. I was in it for the vision. You know what I mean? And then he hires another guy. And then this guy, they start being buddy, and they start يشيشون, like
yeah. They start like hyping each other up
hyping
and
each
kind
other
of
up.
like causing
and
issues.
this other guy who I actually vouched for and pushed for him to be hired starts throwing me under the bus because he's threatened that I'm gonna take his job, and I'm like, I don't even do what you do.
No.
And then I got into it with the guy who is
Runs the
behind
show.
it, who's running it. And I was like, you know what? I cannot handle this disrespect. I'm handing in my resignation. And he was like, okay, good. He kind of was like cornering me into doing that. And I remember I was telling him, I'm like, you know what? What you're doing is not empowering women. You're exploiting women. Because at the end of the day, you're in this for the money. And that was the most devastating thing that I went through.
when you realized what you saw was not actually like the vision.
It was such smoke and mirrors that because at some point he was looking for someone else to hire because he had hired someone, which by the way, he hired someone that's a non-experienced person and gave them the exact same salary as Zainab, and Zainab had 11 years of experience in that field.
Not just like 11 years of experience. I have international experience.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like, why are you belittling my experience? Like I've worked with companies from all over the world. I used to travel.
You ran your own company.
I ran my
So
own
you
company
knew
and
how
ran it
run
to the
it.
ground. But that's a story for another day.
No, but I think so. When I sat with
Trial and error.
Trial and error. Yeah.
You probably see, that's the thing I always tell people. I'm like, listen, bring on people who have tried to build the business. Even if they failed, they know what mistakes not to make.
Exactly. And I tried so hard to apply all of that and help him out. But it's like, you cannot see my value. Mm-hmm. You cannot see past the fact that I am a woman. You cannot see my value. And it was so hypocritical to me, like that you're actually doing this platform to empower women. Meanwhile, you cannot keep any of the women. Like even the girl that was hired, she was great at what she was doing, but he did not know how to deal with us. And it was such a toxic environment to be in. It was so bad for our mental health. She ended up leaving because it was also bad for her mental health. Mm-hmm. So it was horrible.
Work-life balance. 61% of women think motherhood disrupts their chances of evolving in the workplace. Why did I say evolving?
I love your face when you're doing the facts and the statistics. It's like she turns into this like radio voice.
She's like the newscaster, you know what I mean?
61% of women.
Oh, that was pretty
This
good.
is actually my launching pad for my voice acting career.
If
I
anybody
love
needs
it.
a voice
I'm gonna
actor-
have you do a voiceover.
No, I can do so many accents. I can do so many voices.
Oh, I heard the accents.
Oh, honey, that's nothing. That's not when it's serious. When it's serious, if you speak to me on the phone, you will believe it.
She cannot stop doing
I
her
have
Australian
pretended
accent.
to be.
Oh my, hello, Daniel
Australian.
Ricardo.
You want some sneaks? Let's get back to
apologize.
work-life balance.
I sound like the female Andrew Tate. I swear I'm not. Although he's been making a controversial opinion, he's kind of been making some sense recently.
Yeah, you think
It's
so?
really bad when we start saying Andrew Tate to be making sense. It's really
But can I
bad.
tell you something? Also, I feel like as women, we've betrayed women.
Yeah.
We betrayed the identity of womanhood.
But I don't blame women. That's the problem. Is that like I feel like it's because if you go back, it's essentially the patriarchy. You know
No,
what I mean?
yes
It's like-
and no. Yes
Yeah,
and
I mean, yeah, we should hold ourselves accountable as
no.
well.
We really should, because
Yeah.
like then that's being men basically,
Yeah. I
will
and not
say-
holding ourselves accountable for
and
it.
it's worked for them, so maybe we should try it.
At work, I will say when I worked in a corporate environment,
Yeah.
it was the girls gossiping about me. The girls, not all.
Yeah.
I had some girlfriends, but there was this gaggle of women.
Gaggle of
that
women. That's when you
would-
know it's serious.
It's
When
so
they turn
serious.
into
She
geesh.
called them a gaggle.
Gaggle of women.
Because they were a gaggle of women. They really were,
Yeah.
that were obsessed with talking ish. It's Ramadan, I'm censoring myself now. About other women, and me included. And the attitude that they had was just so,
Yeah.
just, I don't know, like, why? They would make people cry. Like, what is your problem? Are you insane? They never made me cry because I thought they were insane. But I will say, like, what is this? What is this bullying? As women, we
Yeah.
know what it's like when women bully other women at work.
It's
To
worse
me-
than when men do it.
Yeah.
it
is.
Because a man, I'm like, you're just an idiot anyways.
Like I could do your job better than you.
I probably
But-
could.
But with women, it's kind of like it hurts you because you like not all women are raised to be champions of women, but it kind of sucks because you're like, I thought I could find a safe space.
Yeah, that's what it is.
But it also, it's like I don't want to still play into that ideology of "إحنا مساكين." No, we are not. We are strong. We don't need people, but we want that support system.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the comment on motherhood, for example, so yeah, like we
That-
just mentioned, motherhood disrupts the ability of the woman to feel she can progress at work. How many times have you heard a girl say, "Oh yeah, she got married"?
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
She didn't come back. She got married.
Yeah.
Well, عليها بألف عافية if she got married. Like, have a blessed marriage. If
never
you
gonna-
chose not to come back because you don't need to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
more power to you because you're gonna need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna need it. If you chose to stay at home and be a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home wife, good luck, because that is
It's
a
tough.
very tough job.
Running
And stop
a
belittling
house.
that.
By the way, Detta, it's a whole system. It's like literally like you're running a small startup. but
No,
it's
you're
your
running
home.
more than a startup
It's-
because
you're
like you
running
could kill
more-
these humans.
Yeah.
Like these humans' lives depend on you.
Oh my god, you guys! There's this Kuwaiti lady on Instagram. I forgot her name. I need to figure out her
Kuwaiti
name.
lady is a rhyme. That I
A
like.
Kuwaiti lady. She does these cooking videos, and I think she's a grandma. And her cooking videos, she cooks for like big, like gatherings. I'm
Oh
assuming.
my
it's
god,
like
send me
big-
her Instagram. That sounds really
I need
cute.
to send you her Instagram. This woman, like when I look at her TikToks or her videos, like me and my friend dissected this, and I'm like, she is trained because she has like I think like 3 or 4 helpers, and literally even in the videos you could tell like she's trained them and they're synchronized and they're choreographed, and she has like this entire system, and I'm like, oh my god, this is insane. This is literally like she's running a company.
She's a maestro, and they're the
She's
orchestra.
managing
She's
them.
literally
She
a
has
chef, guys. Like that is
Yeah.
a restaurant right there.
Yeah.
That is how a system
But
of a restaurant
it-
works. F&B.
Yeah, but when you look at it, you're like, oh,
Can't
she's
say
just
enough.
a housewife cooking for her kids and her
Do they
family.
think it's any less important?
They do.
They do.
Like that's what drives me crazy. Like, why?
Yeah. And I
Why
think,
I have to like take my kids to school, pick them up, do the make sure the house is clean. Even if you have help, at the end of the day, the main caregiver is you.
Listen, let's just debunk this whole help thing. If you don't sit there, you will regret not
Yeah.
sitting there.
Yeah.
Yes, there's help, and help, obviously, like, shout out to the people who don't have help. That is an immense job. I don't know how
Oh, yeah.
they do it.
Oh yeah.
In the region, we more likely than not usually do have help. I mean, Zainab, we can't say it enough. Like, because I think her and I have seen our moms lose it when the help is like not able to do basic things. Like, the more people there are in the house and the more help there is, the more there's people to micromanage and manage. On top of that, you also have to be careful, beautiful for your wife, so you're still enticing, and you have to be a mother to your kids.
Beautiful for your husband.
Beautiful for your husband, so you're still enticing him.
Ramadan.
You know, you're not just. You're not just a helper.
But
Let's just be a mom. Listen to your kids. Make sure their mental health is okay. Help with the homework.
But that's the thing that
Help with
the problem
food.
is like
do this,
women
do that. Take them. Still have a social life. Go to the
Exactly.
gym. Come back.
And that's what
do
it is.
This,
It's like
do
you
that.
have to-
Laser, nails, hair,
yeah.
Eyebrows. The whole
women
freaking
are
9 yards.
encouraged to sacrifice what they want. Like, we are pushed, and if you don't do that, then you're bad. If you take time for yourself, then you're a bad mom, you're a bad wife, you're a bad daughter. You know what I mean? It's just it's too much. And like you said, like, we live in a culture where it's a very social culture. It's about who you know. So we have to socialize. So if I'm working a job, if I chose to work in the private sector, then my hours are longer. And if I have a husband, then obviously, like, you know, I probably have some wife duties. And if I have kids, that's a different freaking story.
And more than just that, you better have time on the weekends to go sit at the house of your in-laws and entertain them. And you better bring something. What you
and
yourself.
don't forget, you need to host.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You need to host and do the social duties and whatnot of your social group because your husband wants to network, or you want to network, or you want to grow, or you just want to let loose and see your friends. And then at some point you need to take a very, very expensive trip because you can't take a non-expensive. You take mini trips, but then you need to do one like summer trip for the whole family. And let's be real, it's not cheap. You need to take your kids here. You want to give them all the experiences that you want to give them. So like really, it's crazy.
It
Yeah.
is. It's so hard. But I think
And balancing a 9 to 5 in the process is crazy.
Yeah.
But we still manage to do it. And you don't, even if you're tired, even if you want to vent about it, you don't even feel comfortable doing it because someone's going to be like, then quit. Then why are you doing it? See, I told you women can't
then
do
quit
it.
and sit at home and take care of your kids. But I think we need to normalize that it should be unique to each person. Like, we don't all want the same things. And that's why I feel like it should be based on like what you desire, what your income is, what your partner's income is, what you kind of like, the roles you want to play. Like, it's not a one size fits all.
Oh, not at all. It's not.
Single income households obviously are so different to joint income households. But also in this
It
economy,
depends on how well the income is on that single income.
No, but listen, I do want to validate that some people do.
Like, i.e. the romance novels.
Yeah.
We
Millionaires.
discussed earlier.
In this
Like, that's a single income household that works.
If I'm with a billionaire, well, honestly, no, I would want to
No, it's
do my
the
own
idea
thing.
of like choice. Like, I can do my thing
Yeah.
comfortably without worrying that if
Exactly.
on the off chance, la samahallah, may God never say, but my project doesn't work out or takes longer than expected to work out, I don't have to worry about
You're
my
not
family
struggling.
like going
Exactly.
broke.
Yeah.
No, and I think so. In this economy, obviously, it's getting increasingly hard to become a single income.
You can't even be a dual income household at this point. Like, put your kids in a good school. You need 3 incomes and a separate business.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And some money laundering in the process.
Yeah, no, but that is what we're looking at. People in their 20s, 20, 30 years ago were able to buy houses, and we're looking at maybe never being able to do that.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. If we don't inherit a house, we don't buy a house.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Like,
in
we
Kuwait,
all, our generation knows this. The price of land in Kuwait is ridiculous.
I think it's universally as well. Like,
No,
aren't
no, no. But
millennials
no. But Kuwait, you
struggling?
need to understand, we
Well,
have
yeah,
a different
Kuwait is
system in
different,
Kuwait.
yeah.
So,
outside it's possible. I have friends in their 20s who bought houses, and
Yeah.
they're not cheap houses, but it's because they
They're
were
not
able
at
to
all.
do it.
Yeah.
you're able to do it in installments.
Yeah.
You're able to do it on bank loans. Here, we don't bank loan. Don't forget
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Mortgage, etc. You do. There's so many ways to do it.
And the interest in Kuwait is incredibly high. It's
If you were
Yeah.
to take a loan. But like, also, what loan? What bank is going to give you a couple million KD? Which, like, if you're from internationally, please just like convert that, because
don't even
it's
convert.
ridiculous.
Kuwait has the highest currency in the world.
I mean, it's like around like $6 million, right?
Yeah.
So a million is $3.3 million.
There you go. You do the math.
So if you, what bank is going to bankroll you that much?
No
No bank is gonna. They used to back in the day, by the way.
Yeah.
But it was not a million because the land wasn't that expensive.
Yeah. I mean, what is rent now? The average rent?
I was looking at rent. So I was looking at rent between here, Saudi, and Qatar because I had gotten opportunities in Saudi and Qatar. Saudi's gotten expensive.
Yeah.
But is it as expensive as here? Like, I remember them telling me that an apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment, huge, by the way, 2-bedroom and like 150 square meters or like something like that. A 2-bedroom
Massive.
apartment with maintenance and everything and security and all that. Paying 800 KD was expensive for it. And I was like, 800, that's nothing. And they're like, excuse me? And I was like, do you understand that in Kuwait that would be no less than 1,000?
Yeah.
I mean, 1,000, it would be more.
Biraha. That's
Yeah.
why I said no less than. It's crazy.
It
so
is.
really, can we quit our jobs? No. No.
Do I want to quit my job?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, yes.
But like, again, sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I'd love to quit my job. But then everyone goes through it. Men, women, let's be real.
Yeah.
But if you're doing something you truly enjoy doing
Yeah.
and you're not in a toxic, gender biased environment, you're like, nah, I like what I do.
Yeah.
Like, even when I was corporate, I loved what I did. I loved what I did, you guys. I basically got paid to do good to the world.
Yeah.
But did I enjoy the environment?
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And why? Because I was at a disadvantage. And keep in mind, we are also at a disadvantage, or like Mia maybe might understand this a little bit more, but being a not fully Kuwaiti,
Yeah.
Oh,
you're
yeah.
at a higher
Oh, yeah.
disadvantage. Because some of us, like, our accents are على قولتهم مضروب. مضروبة. See, there you go. مضروبة. I can say it in Syrian, but like the fact that some things, you know, go over my head.
Jokes,
Totally.
cultural
Not
things.
just. It's even the accent. Like if I'll throw a bedliya here or there.
Oh, yeah.
No, the
Oh,
accent,
100%.
the accent is the first thing you see. But when you go deeper, you miss the jokes, you miss the cultural things that apparently you're supposed to know. It's the most basic thing is when people would come to my cubicle.
Oh my God. At least you
And-
had a cubicle.
Yeah, no, but when they would come to my
Were you
cubicle,
working open space?
Open workspace.
Open workspace.
disaster.
I hate open workspaces.
Yeah,
No privacy.
Don't need that.
Like I don't have to go to the stairwell to answer my phone.
Yeah.
Because like I don't want everyone to hear my business.
No, but when that was the case, like if an older coworker would come, he'd say something that I'm supposed. I don't know what I'm like. You know, there's these formalities.
Insider jokes.
No, these formalities, like the way to greet someone. There's like,
Gua,
Like, oh, were you-
Gawachallah,
were
whatever.
you-
I mean, Mia, you're at a bigger disadvantage because you
didn't grow up here.
yeah, but like I
Oh.
didn't know that when someone was sick, they'd be like, "Asak shmashar."
Asa mashar.
Awesome. I don't know. And I look at me. I don't know what to say. Sorry. Like, haha. You know. But it gets to a point where you get there's an attitude
I
about
understand.
it. You know.
Yeah. Oh, like you're Kuwaiti and you don't know these things?
It's
like,
But also it's,
more
like
than
that attitude of,
Yeah.
oh, you guys are so Americanized. You think it's so cool
Oh,
to
yeah,
speak
yeah, yeah.
English. Like
Yeah.
the comments you see on every
yeah,
like
but they don't understand
news
that we
post
are
whenever
more
someone speaks
comfortable
English.
speaking in English because we've been bullied.
Yeah.
and that's why like recently like I've been
Like, correct me,
telling
don't
our
laugh at
friends.
me.
Yeah, literally, I've been telling our friends like one time you said something and they were like, "Oh my God, what did you say?"
And we're a group of 8. Everyone uproars. Zainab knows I don't speak Kuwaiti anymore because I'm so embarrassed. Like I can't say it enough. I'm so proud to be Kuwaiti. I have such a hard time with the language. Be kind to me. I'm learning.
Yeah.
Not just you
So
didn't grow up
literally
here.
just-
Stop
I was like, teach her how to say it right and don't laugh at her.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because it's gone to a point where now sometimes like my Kuwaiti gets worse every single time because I don't feel comfortable speaking it, and I'll speak it in any other lahja.
Yeah.
By the way, I can do a Saudi, I can do a Lebanese, I can do a Syrian, I can do an Egyptian. But is it perfect? No. But I'm telling you, I'm better at them than Kuwaiti because I think I've gotten so insecure.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Me too. I understand it completely. Sometimes I'm like, ooh, you know, I don't want to say it because I'm scared to say it wrong.
Yeah.
So I'd rather just say it either in Syrian or in English.
Yeah.
And you feel left out. And so
Oh,
add
100%.
to the fact that we are women in the workplace, in the corporate place, where do you feel left out? Because we're not part of the boys club. We can't freaking pronounce the words right. Like we're just standing in the silence being like, well, I'm going to get overlooked now for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So my thing is, I'm just gonna be loud about it. Like, not loud as a human being.
Yeah.
I mean loud
But
in
you
my
take
actions.
space.
I'm gonna take space
Yeah.
because like my ideas need to be heard, and I'm gonna force it.
Yeah.
And it sucks because it's gonna make you enemies. Like,
Yeah.
it made me enemies, but I did not care. And even when I left, I made sure, and I knew people were very happy to see me leave, but I made sure, and someone asked me this when I was leaving, why are you handing off this last project? You don't have to do that. Why would you do that? Like, it's not part of your job scope to hand this over since you're leaving now. Like, you don't, you're not obligated to. And I was like, I'd rather leave with a positive impact than a negative. Like, I would rather leave and say that I did something positive while I was here than leave on a negative note, and then one day someone says like, oh, we did want her to do this, but she just bounced. No.
Yeah.
Here it is.
You're doing your
I'm
due
giving
diligence.
you, no, not just. I'm giving you this. I want to see it thrive. Because
Yeah.
when a push comes to shove and they look at it and they say, oh, who did that? Even if I wasn't there, I was the person who did that.
Yeah.
And that is the space I'm taking up.
Yeah.
You're going to force it.
Yeah.
You're going to have to force it.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, you are obviously, like, you learned how to force yourself. And sometimes I feel like you need certain personality traits to be able to do that. Let's be real. Not all women are comfortable doing that because of the way that we're raised. So it's tough. I feel like there should be like an environment where it's easier for women to take up space. But
Who wants
obviously
to
that's an
risk getting
ideal
fired?
world.
Oh,
Who wants like if you're leaving with a bang, you're leaving with a bang. But traditionally speaking, like no one wants to get fired.
Yeah.
look, once you put in your resignation, you don't care
Yeah.
anymore.
Honestly, I had the best time after I resigned. Those 2 weeks,
Oh my God, me too.
I was
All right.
having the time of my life.
Let's get into leadership and representation. So globally, the women account for, I think, 47.7% of the workforce. But can you guess how many are in leadership positions? Just give me a guess.
Don't go too low.
21.
Close, 27.1%. Can you imagine? So if you're like, oh, there are women in leadership, like,
No, there aren't.
there aren't.
Because
27.1%.
I've never had a female boss. Have you?
I've had.
Have you? No.
I've had different experiences with female bosses. Some were good when they're
Like
bad.
direct
they're
boss?
bad.
No. Like seniors, yes, but they're not my bosses.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Anyways, no, honestly, but you know what those have taught me? Because like I understand where they're coming from, because there is this like competitiveness to relationships between like girls, like especially if my boss is a female, she's like, oh, she's coming for my spot.
Yeah.
So I think when I started managing others, especially girls, I would always like try to
foster a healthy environment.
exactly, yeah, go out of my way, sometimes to my own
Detriment?
detriment. Like it's literally
And that's
the
where you
red
have
flag
to
is
look.
there.
When is my kindness a hinder or a help?
Yeah.
Like that's where you start to look at it. Okay, I'm trying to break the stigma, but when does the stigma, like me breaking the stigma, end up ruining my chances at XYZ?
Yeah.
I think this is where being a man and a woman differs, because I think as women, I don't want to stereotype, but we do tend to look at other girls. Maybe we'll see ourselves in them and we'll, let me help her because no one helped me and that's beautiful and amazing. Guys don't usually do that. I've noticed at work,
No.
they don't really like take someone under their wing as like,
If they do,
I-
it's boys clubby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I see it all the time. It is the boys club. Like they just don't do it the way we
way
do it.
we
It's
do
different.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, in Kuwait, what's interesting to note is that in parliament, women make up 4% of the seats.
Can I say something that
Are
a
you-
lot of people get really irritated by when I speak, and I speak from someone who is a human rights activist. I am very involved in not just like the social side but the political side as well. I'm very involved in that sense. I'm very loud about politics and whatnot. I would rather have no representation if the representation is wrong.
Yeah.
So do you remember the year that it was a couple years ago when no women made it into parliament?
Yeah.
And everyone was so angry and women were calling for a quota. I was against it. Because why should we put women who aren't qualified? I would like for there to, if the quota meant that the women had to be qualified, yes. But the women running aren't qualified. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Show me the women that are qualified, because like that's what makes me frustrated. We don't always have women who really understand or know, because a lot of them see that going into positions of parliament or politics doesn't make as much of a difference. So I had a professor that once told me, Noor, because my background is international relations. And my professor once told me, Noor, you make more of a difference in politics as a businessman than you do as a politician.
Of course. The lobbying.
And so that's where you see women should be positioning themselves, because there is where they can make the difference. There is where they can implement change. In parliament, how many times do the اقتراحات or the suggestions put forward by parliament actually pass? We hear a lot of like anti-feminist talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like anti-women, like what's his name with the yoga and the whatever and all
Oh
of
my
that
God.
stupid stuff.
But
Let's
that affects, I
segregate
think it
school.
affects the collective mentality. In
No,
a
the
way.
collective mentality that thinks like them.
Well,
And
yeah.
why do we hear them the loudest? It's because the what is it? The rotten always shows, like the bad always shows more than the good. So you have tons of people who are against it, but they don't show, because that small majority that does support that anti-female rhetoric is very loud about it, and we see it the most. But what about all the people that implemented the positive change? They're still there and they're still working. Do I think that, you know, the women that have been in parliament before, there are some amazing ones. You can't deny that.
Yeah.
Shout out to them. But do I think that they've been taken seriously? No. Like, there's one of them who let's be real, she's become more of like a social media
Yeah.
phenomena. We love her. She's funny. She's whatever. Did I like her when she was in parliament?
No.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
But-
Even though I know that her issue wasn't, was not her actual view. Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
But this was the view of the people who kept her there, and she needed to make sure she kept her seat.
Yeah.
Do I want someone representing me in gender, but does not represent me in views? That's where you start to question. Is it about the gender? Is it about the views? Do you want the collective benefit, or do you want the benefit in
Yeah. I mean, obviously
representation?
both would be nice.
It would
you
be.
know.
No, but I mean,
But-
if we say that, we're going to say that what every man that has a seat represents or is qualified. No.
No, of
So-
course not. But I'm just talking the state of women. I hope men have the same mentality, but let's be real.
They don't. They have the mentality of who's going to do things
Yeah.
for them, and you see it time and time again.
Because
If you
it's
go
just
But
back-
I think
thing.
our
Yeah.
generation
Yeah.
has changed that stigma, though. Like, our generation started to think, no, we want proper, because we've seen what
Yeah.
happened over
We've
the
seen
generations.
and we're seeing and we will continue to see. I mean, the most basic thing for me, because obviously I come from outside, so the first thing I saw about Kuwait was physically. Look at our roads, look at our potholes, like our infrastructure is lacking. And when I think that this is one of the richest countries in the world, I just think,
Do
Yeah.
you know that the
Did no
one of the
one think-
nicest highways in Bahrain was built by Kuwait?
yeah, I do actually.
Yeah, and
Wait, didn't we build their airport as well?
we
Chima?
built everything. We built everything for everyone.
We love you,
Yeah.
Bahrain. Shout out
Shout out
Bahrain.
to Bahrain.
We give
Ila.
out,
Ila.
we
But,
give
like,
so much,
we
but we
do.
don't do for ourselves.
Yeah.
But this is where now we're seeing a change that's about to happen. Hopefully,
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I hope so. But-
we've been seeing a positive change, but onto like the female side of our representation in politics, it makes me sad. But like, that's something that's lacking all over the
Yeah.
world. Let's be
It
real.
is lacking, yeah.
Like, we can't. When Kamala Harris won VP,
Disaster.
Kamala Harris, a lot of girls who didn't really understand what her views were cheering it on, like the first female, and she's a person of color, and she's whatever. They not realizing her political background. Kamala Harris has the harshest prosecution rates on people of color. She is openly supportive of a very illegal occupation, has claimed herself, like she has said, I belong to them.
Yeah.
She has very anti-female and anti people of color policies. Yet people cheered her on just because she was a woman, and they didn't realize until later that, oh, we messed up. We supported her just because of the gender. And I think that's very wrong. what's her name? The Liz Truss, the UK Prime Minister.
Oh.
And I get that it's very similar to what's happening right now with like having
Yeah.
Rishi Sunak in power.
Oh my God.
They're choosing people
Yeah.
from minority
Yeah.
groups
To push their
people to do
agendas.
their agenda.
Yeah.
Because to say that we did it, we did what you're asking for. So you start to think, is it worth it if someone is? And I'm not saying that there isn't a woman that can do for and work for us, but we have to question, why are they not getting there?
Yeah.
Why are we not pushing loud enough,
yeah.
and why are we not loud about it? And it's people just don't want to get out of their comfort zone.
There is also a big lack of representation of women in certain fields, like fashion, for example. So fashion houses nowadays, even if the woman is a creative director, the person at the head of the fashion house that makes all the business decisions is a man. And I think what we're seeing is fashion for women, targeting women, being headed by someone that's a man. It's not going to understand the same needs.
It's not just fashion. I don't think this is like
it's the
just
same with beauty.
It's with beauty,
Cosmetics,
with
all
like
cosmetics.
everything. Like even I think like things that are tailored for like maternity and stuff like that. It's all like men are making these
A
decisions.
man doesn't understand.
What do you know about
the
being
use of
pregnant?
Yeah, no, but a man doesn't understand the use of diapers. But for example, an example I always think of is Celine at the time of Phoebe Philo. The designs were made for women. The pockets were big enough to fit a diaper, and the designs were really well thought out. And when she left Celine, you could see that it wasn't by women for women anymore.
Like,
It
why
became
do we
just
get so
fashion.
excited whenever we have a pocket? Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Because
I
we
love it.
don't
Oh my god, I have
Oh my god,
pockets.
have you seen there's these TikToks where it's like they compare the pockets in women's jeans
To
to men's,
yeah.
and like most of the pockets are actually just designed. They're not actual real pockets. They're like so.
Have you seen the photo where, like, I think it was Ariana Grande holding like a bunch of stuff? in
Yeah,
her hand?
we've evolved.
We have.
evolved.
Like, I remember the other day I was
Keys,
holding
coffee
like so
phone.
many things: keys, coffee, phone, and like your wallet, and like
Yeah,
two
yeah,
other
yeah,
things
yeah. A
in
lip
one hand,
gloss.
and then like your bag and your whatever in the other. And I'm like, what? Why? And our bags are getting smaller. Are you noticing that?
Yeah.
The big bags are coming back, which finally I'm. So
What if women
excited about.
evolve to like we start growing fingers and then we have more fingers just to get
A third hand.
I just remembered. I had a dream about growing an extra finger.
Oh my god, what does that mean? What does that
It was
mean?
to hold your keys.
Yeah, no, probably. Because I'm like, where's my phone? Where's my keys? I have to hold things in my hand.
Please
otherwise
do not
it's like-
underestimate that extra finger. That could hold so much. That extra finger.
And then the middle
It could hold my patience.
maybe it'll help me drive.
Holding
better.
my will to live.
Holding my will to live. God.